Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do your August, the 15th spiritual principle a day in a meditation. Greet you this morning. Hope you're doing well out there. The title of this meditation, Guided by Conscience. We come to know our intentions. We get better at hearing our own voice, our own conscience, and listening to our instincts. That comes from the Living Clean Book, Chapter 5, Conscious Contact. Even those of us who were raised by wolves were taught the difference between right and wrong. The code of ethics we inherited may have been a bit twisted, but it gave us a point of reference nonetheless. As a result, many of us suffered from a guilty conscience when we screwed up or caused harm early in our using careers. At some point, though, we made a choice, knowingly or not, to behave in ways that were contrary to the values we had internalized. It's not that we lacked a moral compass, we just put it away for a bit. On those occasions when we still felt bad, we turned to denial, defensiveness, and drugs, lots of drugs, to help us stuff the discomfort of a guilty conscience. Our awareness of that still, quiet voice within starts to return almost as soon as we put down the drugs. Our first reunion with our conscience can feel pretty distressing. Without drugs to mask our feelings, many of us experience an uncut dose of the shame we'd been stuffing for years. We're relieved to read that we are not responsible for our disease. In the basic text, people who know their way around the 12 steps assure us that the second half of that sentence, we are responsible for our recovery, will help us make peace with the past and develop our own conscience. We begin to tune into what's right for us and focus on aligning our actions with spiritual principles and our own values. We learn, sometimes through trial and error, to behave in ways we can be proud of, not wanting to pay a spiritual price. We're slower to act out on our most basic urges and selfish desires, so we do so less frequently. We can even observe our impulses without acting on them. Who knew? With practice, we recalibrate our value system and develop a code of behavior that reflects our intentions. I will listen for the reawakened voice of my conscience, knowing that it reflects my beliefs and intentions. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to accept the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. It's a wonderful thing to wake up. It's a wonderful thing to wake up, spiritually speaking. As it mentions here, we begin to hear that still small voice almost immediately, almost as soon as we start putting the drug down. We begin to hear something stirring, brewing away in our spirits. Our conscience is waking up, and we become more conscious of our reality. The illusion that we created begins to dissipate. It begins to go away. The fog that we wake up every day with or come to every day, right, begins to disappear. It begins to clear up. You ever been driving down the road and it's foggy and you're trying to do the best you can to be able to see? What do? You pump the brakes. You go a lot slower. Some people turn on their high beams. Some people keep their low beams on. Some people don't know which beams to put on, but they go very slowly because the visibility in front of them is reduced greatly. Now, the same can happen in a storm, a winter storm, a blizzard. The same can happen with lots of rain, where your visibility, matter of fact, because of some recent fires in Canada, all the way in southwest Michigan, the air quality and the visibility changed. It looked like a hot haze all day for several days in a row. The environment that we're in can oftentimes look cloudy. Our situations can look hazy. But if we slow down, almost to a crawl sometime, if we slow down and take our time to maintain conscious contact with God, to ask all the right questions and even some of the wrong ones, we will be able to navigate very well, not necessarily perfectly, but very well through life's ups and downs, twists and turns. When I think about yesterday, I don't owe one person an amends. There's not one person that I encountered on my list yesterday that I owe anything to. Now, when I woke up yesterday and I began my day, it was a bit hectic. We had to go pick up my Jeep. We had to make sure the mechanic was paid. We had to pick up our truck from our son so that we had another vehicle to use to do all of that. We had to exchange keys, make sure we had right keys. And I still needed to get to my destination, right? On time, ahead of time, actually, right? So when I started my day yesterday, there was so much potential for things to go wrong. There is every day. Every day, there is a chance that one of the twists and turns won't be turning or twisting in my direction or in my favor. And to say that I got through yesterday not owing anyone anything is only a testament to my relationship with God, my relationship with you guys, my spiritual state of mind and spirit. It speaks to that. Today, most likely, will be another one of those days because I slow down. I see what's coming up ahead. Or if I can't see it because the visibility is low, and what can that be compared to? That can be compared to I can't see and know what people are going to do and say. So there's limited visibility about moving forward in the day. I don't drive into it full force ahead, but I take it with optimism. I take it with spirituality. I go forward in love and in grace. kindness, humility. I move forward in those spiritual states so that as things do come up, as people come at me sideways or they say certain things that 9 times out of 10, I'm going to address it in the moment. So hopefully you didn't think that you were just going to spout out off at me at the mouth and I not say anything. No, let's have a conversation. We don't have to have confrontation, but more than likely, I am going to respond to whatever is coming my direction, but not with that chip on my shoulder, seeking to understand, seeking to actively listen. Let me see, did I hear you right? Did you actually just say, and what do you mean by that word? Because that particular word could mean different things for different people. When I was living in Kenya, some of my spiritual children would say things, Mom, you look smart. I thought to myself, I look smart? Hmm. I really don't feel like I look like a librarian. They meant I look nice. My outfit that I had on looked nice. Or they would say, You look clever. Now, many of you know our English language. Clever and smart can be used synonymously, right? But clever seems to convey something manipulative now, right? Deceitful in a way. But they meant the same thing as when they would say, You look smart. They're saying, You look nice. So words can mean different things to different people. If I don't understand something, or I'm thinking that it could mean one thing, and I might be ready to take offense at that, it behooves me to ask you, What did you mean? A lot of times people don't really think about the words they use. There's no ill intent intentionally behind the words that they use. It's the language, the culture they're in, it's the way that they're raised, the environment they were raised in, the people they hang out with. And so sometimes I have to say, What did you mean by that? I want to make sure I understand you. But I don't go into it with an attitude. I pump the brakes because what I'm seeing is a bit foggy, right? My visibility has been reduced. So I slow down. And you can do the same. It's good to be guided by your conscience. After it has been recalibrated, and the only way you're going to know your conscience has been recalibrated from your using version of yourself is to give it a chance to be used, to be effective, to begin to trust it. And then when you see that you judged a situation wrong, you go through the steps of recovery, apply it to that situation, and recalibrate, reset. And when you set it for that spiritual principle that needs to be improved, you reset your conscience according to a spiritual principle that has been developed further by maybe even like a bad decision, a bad experience. Now, the next time it comes up and needs to be used, you're more close to what center is. You're more balanced. You're not operating at a deficit in the negative. You're closer to the midpoint of zero. You're in a better position to use that spiritual principle based on your experience, your strength and hope, and a reawakened voice of your conscience. knowing that it reflects your beliefs and your intentions. But it's not permanent, it can be readjusted. So take courage with that today, okay? My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose. Talk to you soon.